as we have planned, I'm going to be discussing what's going on with World War II Online. That's our topic of discussion primarily, as that's our game, as you know. So, right away, while I'm talking here, please start getting your questions ready. I've got some community managers who are helping us out right now, and they'll help me with all of your questions. We expect quite a bit of a turnout today. I see the viewer calculators going up quite a bit, or the counter. So welcome everyone. I'm Zoom, the project lead for World War II Online. Most of you guys already know that, but for those of you who may not know, hello, welcome. We've got a lot going on here in World War II Online right now, and the biggest thing I'd say is that 135 is being worked on, and that's great. Well, what is 135 and what does it do for us? Again, while I'm talking, make sure you start asking questions, and we will get to those in just a moment after this opening statement. 135 is really our path forward. It's going to stabilize the game. It's going to empower our developers to be more successful in terms of developing the game, of course, and being faster and more efficient about it. We've gone into depth as to why that is. We have open beta going on right now. We learned of some problems with your help, and we've already got fixes on the way, and they're looking great. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into some questions because I'm sure you guys have a lot. My goal here is today to brief you and make sure everyone understands what's going on. So here we go. On Facebook, Brian Birch says, I can't find the release notes on 135. This should be on the front page, brah. Well, brah, we did put it on the front page, I'm pretty sure. Either way, they're in our forums, and we'll review after this just to make sure that it certainly is there. Okay? But thanks. So we're going to need people to start asking questions. That's the whole purpose of this chat, is for me to take some time out of my weekend to talk to you guys, to make sure you guys know that World War II Online is going forward. We're doing big things here, thanks to your support. And yeah, so please ask some questions. Otherwise, you're going to sit there and stare at me for a little bit. Just one second, I've got one of my community managers asking me a question who's helping with this chat. All right. And as I mentioned before when I first got started, I've got a camera here and a camera here. We're broadcasting live on 5 different social networks right now, so it's pretty busy. Welcome. As you can see, we are here to talk about your questions, so please ask some questions. If you're new to the game, I'll briefly explain what the game is about. It's a massively multiplayer online game. It is the first massively multiplayer online first-person shooter, that's a mouthful, ever created. And we launched in June 6, 2001, and we're approaching our 15th consecutive year of online operations, one of the longest-running MMOs ever. And we've got big things coming. Hey, Colt John, welcome. Al Corey's here. He's Rafter, calling him out. Welcome. Glad to have you, dude. Patrick Coyle asks, what are you looking forward to in the near future? The amount of things that we've been able to do to get our development team back in order and to actually get the game going again and going forward, because after 2012, you know, when all that happened, there's a lot of history there. If you don't know, I can't even begin to explain everything that happened. But rebuilding the development team has been the biggest challenge, and now is the most rewarding and probably one of the best functioning aspects of our internal team. So I'm looking forward to being able to work on the game, to develop it further. This whole path from 2012 to present has been, how do we stabilize the game? How do we make sure we keep going on and have an opportunity, a bridge? We've been building a bridge to the next thing. And that next thing is finally approaching here. We have some opportunities to move forward. I'd say the biggest thing is just the fact that we can do things now. That's my greatest thing I'm looking forward to, and specifically getting onto Steam. We expect a very large volume of players. We still have that opportunity, and that's going to be really cool. Al Corey says I was in diapers when we launched. Well, that's not exactly true. I was quite a bit younger, of course. But I need you guys to be asking questions, or this is going to be a pretty dull chat. So please feel free. I've got community managers that are here to help me out and make sure that your questions are answered. That's what this is all about. So this is your chance. And thanks, Al. That's really cool. We appreciate that. And appreciate your guys' efforts. Only now do I fully understand all the stuff you guys had to do. And I can't fully understand all of it, but it's been quite a challenge, so respect to the old team. Jacob Jamie said, will we ever see real artillery in Battleground Europe? We have a former artillery officer on our team who's a captain in the Army. His name is Pilot MC. He would say yes to that question, absolutely. And I would say hopefully. We'll see. Have you guys been able to patch the host successfully? Oh yeah, we can patch the host successfully now. 135, we're working on client updates with that, but yeah, we can do a full spectrum amount of deployments now. We've really gone well. In fact, we've started to break into running clusters on virtual machines, and we're exploring what it would take to put the game onto the cloud, and that is our goal in the future. It was hopeful to have that done before Steam, but our mission is to get on Steam as soon as we can. But this also includes having a stable game. 134 broke quite a bit of stuff, and it's made the player experience a little bit challenging to stick around. We've had some weird anomalies, but it's coming around. So Brian Birch asks, who's the guy who makes magic? Rick B, in my eyes, was a guy in the past. Who works miracles today? Our miracle worker is a gal named Gadget. She is the development team lead, and she is brilliant, both with Mac and PC and host. She's kind of a jack of all trades and really, really good. I would say also that it kind of depends. We have very specialized people who are great in the Mac, who are great in the PC, who are great at client and host and networking. We have a lot of really good professionals on our team at this stage. So it's not just one person. But I would say if there was one person who really did some crazy stuff, if we were to look at like kind of our modern day, I don't necessarily want to say KFS one, but if we were to say our modern day person, that would probably be Gadget. Terry Minton asks, when will the next update to 135 come and general schedule for into the future? Right now, we have some closed beta testers, so some internal testing teams working on QA for our latest update. The candidate for the 135.0.11 update, and they're going through that right now and looking for any bugs. We put a lot of fixes in over the last week and a half, so by the end of this month we should have another open beta. I'm hoping sooner. It's very plausible that that might happen, but that's really a safe bet for us. Cosmo Kozla, will there ever be another event to give incentive to old players to return? So you're talking about a Welcome Back Soldier event. The answer to that question is yes. Our intent is to continue running Welcome Back Soldier events, but we want to make sure that when they come back, we have a stable release. So we don't want people to show up and things to be broken. And we haven't done a lot of that lately because the current game experience of 134, and there's still the great World War II Online that we know. However, it needs to be better, and we've got fixes on the way, so we don't want to, shoot ourselves in the foot, so to speak. So when 135 is out, we've seen a lot of the big things fixed, which there are a lot of good fixes in there. We want to make sure it's also stable because, as you guys have seen over the last year, us being able to deploy things has improved, but they're never going to be smooth. I wish I could say it was, but always something happens. It's just the nature of the beast. And things are getting better, and we're learning, and we're documenting. Our whole process is getting more efficient, but they need to show up when things are, the dust is settled and things are running smooth, and then we're ready for them. So I would say probably 2 to 4 weeks after a stable 135 release. Al asked, did you guys shelve the Rapid Assault client and scenarios? Yes, we still have all that data, host and client, and all that jazz. We still have it. Our intent is to look into the terrain a little bit and see what else, other goodies we might be able to pull from it. We're just getting to that stage where we're working on World War II Online, and not just, oh my god, we got to fix that, oh we got to fix that, playing Fireman. We're finally starting to get past that phase where now everyone kind of knows what's going on, and now we can actually develop the game. Top on my personal wish list, we need a new user interface, one that isn't nearly as challenging for our customers to find and locate the battle. And I think that we made big strides with the active battles tab over the last year, which is as soon as someone logs into the game, all the missions that were previously in brigades, which were, imagine all the navigation you'd have to do to get there, all the missions now are displayed on a huge list, which prioritizes based on the population, mobile spawns if they're available or not, if they're an attack or not, things like that. And that's dramatically helps, but it's not enough. Our user interface needs serious work. Let's see. Brian Birch said, changing the world software, seen some awesome stuff based on shuttle topography. Yeah, so like we were just talking about, Rapid Assault's terrain engine is our more realistic scenario. We don't want to get too crazy and wander too much. That's something that a lot of money went into, a lot of time and effort and sweat. It's something that would dramatically, our visuals and our terrain for our engine would be dramatically improved under that. Our ability to get that or not is another question. As we've talked about in our last QA, my goal is this. Here's kind of the broad spectrum of where World War II Online is going. We're trying to stabilize the game with 135. We talked about that. We're adding new features. We've finally got the ability, with your help, to introduce new vehicles and terrain objects. For those of you who may know, multi-gen, which is a super pain in the butt for our artists. We have the latest version of that, which is called Presagis Creator. That's the software now. So all of these previous things that we could not work on because our multi-gen was so out of date, we can now do. So anything other than infantry in terms of 3D objects, it's really cool. That whole door has been opened up. And right now, I have our lead artist who's actually here helping moderating and watching your guys' feedback. He's working in that pretty exclusively. It's a bit painful, but we have a no-quit mentality, and we're bashing. Our whole strategy with this new team is to bash down barriers that are roadblocks. That's what I mean. And to keep proceeding forward regardless of how difficult the task may be, because we're gamers and we want to see this through. So once we stabilize the game, which we're really close to and we're making huge progress, we're going to continue to introduce content. We're going to set ourselves up for a successful Steam release. And at that time, after Steam has been successfully released, we seriously, and I talked about this in our last chat and in the forums now a lot, we really need to sit back and analyze our future. And we're already doing that and thinking, how long can we keep World War II going? We'd really like to keep going forever. But what I mean by asking that question is, on our current iteration, with the graphics and the graphics engine capabilities of today, World War II Online has a lot of great stuff. But what it's not great at is graphics. And that's no hit to anybody. This game was started development in '99. So there's only so much we can do. So we take all the good stuff that makes World War II Online what it is. It's networking and netcode and capability, all that stuff. And we get a new graphics engine. We have some serious opportunity. And you could see that the previous team understood that as well many years ago. However, due to being reliant on financial investments and things like that, it just didn't work out. World War II Online and Playnet is in a very different stage now, where it's the community and us. That's it. And while it's not the most paying job or the most glorious in some cases, we have very passionate people who want to see things through. So our main goal is, how do we build the next 15 years? And as far as working on this game, we're going to continue to as much as we can, and we want to have a stable Steam release, because then we'll get more people in our community, which means it's a healthier experience for everyone. That was long-winded, but I wanted you guys to be aware of that, so thanks for listening. Stanley Wilkins said, are you changing the software? That's a pretty open question, but if you're asking if we're intending to move to the next version of World War II Online and really make it not only look better, but perform better, our goal is after Steam to get to that point. And that's no easy task, by the way. Maybe I'm sounding a bit confident, like, yeah, we can do that. No, it's going to be a bastard of a task, and we're going to need your guys' full support, to really back us on this, because it's going to be a big deal. Mike Miller says, tell us about where the air side is at this time. We have some stuff being worked on. I will tell you today that with our new software, we have to start our new art software and introducing new vehicles. We have to start kind of small. We're just learning the software, but our goal is delivery to get you something for what I'm calling our starving demographics, which include pilots. Seamen, so naval guys, sailors. Should have used sailors. You guys are gonna have fun with that. And tankers, and things that just haven't been touched in a long time. The infantry have received a lot of love. But what about these other guys? So in terms of the air, what we're trying to do right now is to get a 109, so a German Messerschmitt. With a bomb because the British have the Hurricane Mark IIc, and the French have the P-39 or the Bell. They got a bomb. So we need to have something equivalent for that as well. So we'll be making the BF-109E4B. That information is exclusive to this chat. That's the first time we're talking about it. So you have something to take from this chat. Congratulations. At that point, we'll continue to explore and ramp up things as we go. So the future is additional content, and we also want to look at some of the flight characteristics. We have a couple pilots, real pilots who are on our team, which would be T-Gunner and Pilot MC. So that's kind of direction we're going. We're starting small and seeing where we can go. The general idea is repurposing existing aircraft. Let's keep moving forward. Bring in some other questions. I'm not sure. My guys are saying I'm double feedbacking on YouTube. What the hell does that mean? I have another computer here and another camera that's going to four different streaming devices. Five different social networks right now. So make this game if they use VR. Virtual reality is something we're completely interested in as a consumer, but as far as a developer, I think we don't have enough information right now for us to really figure out how we want to go about doing that. I'm not sure about that. Sorry. My guys were just saying I was coming in twice on some of those other networks, Twitch and YouTube. I was double matting. Back to your questions. Joe Anderson, with so many coming in more on free accounts, how will CRS keep funding the game? Advertisers? That's a great question. And it's a difficult balance to determine. I think that with our ability right now, I think we're surviving. I think the free play guys are supplementing a lot of players that would otherwise not be here at the moment. And I think that's important for us to preserve. Previously, we had a 2-week free trial, and it was basically people would game it. They would come for their 2 weeks, create a new one, and get full premium access. And I think at this stage, we're really starting to see that they're no longer doing that. Create a free play account. They're